Look your best, cause you're turning heads tonight. You're gonna find a sexy chica that's gonna dance all night if you wanna. Don't say you gotta go ahead, it's true, you gotta live. But the party ain't gonna stop, so let's make it hot. The club is full of ballers and their pockets full grown. And now you fellas leave your girl with her friends, cause it's 11:30 and your club is jumping, jumping. Ladies, leave your man at home.
Hey guys, my name is Sharice. If you're new, if you're not new, thank you for watching another video. So as you can tell by the title of today's video, today is going to be a story time. My first ever story time, probably my last. I'm gonna put a straw in my boba. So yeah, let's get started. I figured instead of it just being like a story time, it'll be like a get ready with me sort of story time. These brows have been on for hours, so I'm just going to freshen them up. So today is Sunday, August 5th. You'll most likely see this video the same day that I am filming it. So recently I got hired at a local beauty supply store. If you don't know, I live in San Antonio, Texas, and yeah, there's this beauty supply store near my house that I've been wanting to go to literally since we moved here, but I just never went into there. And so one day I decided to go in there, and as I was walking in, I saw that they were hiring. So I'm like, I bet you need a job. Let me go ahead and send in my resume. So I sent in my resume, and this is at the beginning of July. I want to say like around July 4th. I want to say this was like the 3rd or something like that, or maybe even the 4th. I'm not sure. So I sent in my resume. A few weeks passed, and I didn't hear anything back, so I decided to call. And so when I call, and you know, I ask about, you know, like my resume, ask about my resume, and if they're still hiring, yada yada yada. Whoever answered the phone was like, oh, the owners are out of town and they're the only ones that have access to that email address. Okay, cool. So then maybe about a week later, I get a phone call, and I don't recognize the number, so I don't answer, because I figure if it's important, they'll leave a message. But they didn't leave a message. And I was like, who the hell is that? So I googled the phone number, and it turned out to be that beauty supply store's phone number. So I called back, and I'm like, hey, I just received a phone call from this number. And they're like, oh, what's your name? And I tell them my name. And they're like, oh, we have your resume here, and we're interested in interviewing you. And so that's why we called, to see if you were still interested in a job. And so I'm like thinking, why didn't you leave a message? But, you know, whatever. And so this is Tuesday, I want to say like July 24th or something. I just for sure know it's not this past Tuesday, but the Tuesday before, something like that. And yeah, it had to be the 24th. So they scheduled my interview for Wednesday the 25th. I want to say at like 10:30 or something like that. So I go to my interview, I get all like cute and dressed up or whatever in proper interview clothing. So I show up a little bit early for my interview, and I speak to like the hiring manager or whatever, and we had been talking for 5 to 10 minutes, and I basically have a job. Cool, right? Cool, amazing, perfect. So she tells me, you know, I'm most likely going to be, she tells me like eventually I'm most likely going to be in the wig section, helping, you know, the customers with the wigs, blah, blah, blah. She explains to me how the wig section works. So basically, you know, excuse me, they come in there, if they want to try on wigs, they have to go to the front and purchase a wig cap for $1. And they have to purchase a wig cap every time they go in there, blah, blah, blah. If they end up buying a wig, they, the dollar goes towards that wig, or they get the $1 back. Cool. And then she explains, like, there's certain people that work the register, and she asked me when I'd be able to start. I'm like, I can start tomorrow. So she tells me to come in on Thursday at 1 o'clock for training, right? Okay, cool, whatever. She said that I would, the owner wasn't there, but I would, you know, discuss my pay and all that with the owner. So I show up, probably like 10 minutes early, on that Thursday to start my training. I do my little time card, blah, 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 and I go to, I think the girl is like another manager or something. So Angel was the person that called me in to have an interview. She's the one that interviewed me. She's the one that hired me. When I go in there, Angel passes me over to oh, there's little kids outside. Okay, I was like, I thought someone slapped someone, but I think there's just little kids playing. And you might hear Bailey because she hears them. So anyway, Angel passes me off to who I think is the other manager. Her name is Stephanie. And Stephanie tells me that she needs me to start censoring packs of fucking hair. Okay, cool. Easy task, no big deal. So I start censoring them or whatever. I finish that task, and I'm like, hey, you know, what do you want me to do now? To Angel, and Angel has me do go backs. You know, the stuff that people took up to the counter, but then, you know, they decided they don't want. Okay, cool. Go backs is not a big deal, especially like me being new. Doing go backs helps me learn the store and helps me, you know, figure out which stuff is where. So I do the go backs. It takes me a little while because obviously I'm fucking new, and it was a whole bunch of go backs. Cool, knock that out. I'm like, hey, what do you want me to do now? And she has me doing, you know, more and more tasks. Cool. I felt like, you know, nothing went wrong. I didn't really have too many questions. The two major things that kind of bothered me was the fact that, like, there was no real break room. There was just like a mini fridge and like a storage part of the building, and there's 3 total restrooms. There's 4 total restrooms, but so there's 4 total restrooms. The women's restroom in one part of the store is basically not usable because the light in the women's restroom didn't work. So we had to use the men's restroom. There's only 2 other guys that work there, whatever, cool. There was no soap or paper towels in the bathrooms. And then in the other part of the store where the other restrooms were, one of the restrooms was being used for storage, so you couldn't use that restroom. And then the other one, the door didn't fucking lock. So that was interesting. But anyway, going back to my first day, there wasn't like time for me to like have a break or anything. I worked 1 to 9. And of course, like, I haven't worked in years, y'all. I've been staying at home with Avery, not going to fucking work. So a bitch is tired and also hungry because all I'm doing is moving around all day. And Angel did explain to me, like, it's a small staff, so there's really not that much time. Like, there's no time for people to leave to take a break. But she was like, you know, if you do get hungry or you need something to drink or just need to sit down for a minute, it's fine. Just, you know, go ahead and do that and then get back to work when you can. Cool. So one of the last tasks that she ended up having me doing on that first day, which was supposed to be my training day, was stocking shelves. And she explained that I needed to match the like barcode thing, the little numbers or whatever, to what's on the shelves. Simple, right? But if you've been to a beauty supply store, and I'm not talking like Sally's, like a beauty supply store, you know that most of the fucking time, beauty supply stores don't have all those fucking tags hanging on the damn shelves. Like, you either ask someone what the price is, or you get a little surprise when you go up to the fucking cashier. So I'm of course having issues because there's basically no fucking tags. I wish I took a picture. There's basically no like tags or anything. And also it's my first fucking day, so of course I don't know where these things are supposed to go. So I do what I can, whatever, and I had a few questions like, hey, I don't see a tag for this, blah, blah, blah. And a lot of the items, she was like, if you don't see a tag for it, go up and scan it and see if it pops up in the system. If it doesn't pop up in the system, that means that it's new, just leave it up there. And if it does pop up in the system, but you don't see a tag for it, just set it aside. So that means damn near everything is getting set aside, bitch. Like, I'm confused. So I'm doing that, and while I'm doing that, two customers come up to me and they're like, hey, we're looking for the wild growth oil. And I'm like, oh, the oil that's in the white bottle with the green letters. And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, cool, because that was something that I had just tried to put away, but there was no spot for. So I like put it to the side. And I was like, okay, cool. And I hand them the two items straight out of the box because I didn't know that that was an issue. So I do that, they go and they pay for it, blah, blah, blah. And I move on to doing what I'm doing. And while I'm stocking, someone else comes up to me and she's like, hey, I need help finding hair. She's like, hey, I need help finding hair. I want to get this hairstyle done, but I don't know like what type of hair to get. Blah, 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 right? So she shows me this picture, and if I can find the picture, which I can, I'm gonna put it up so you guys can see it. She shows me this picture. It's Alyssa fucking forever. And I'm like, oh, is that Alyssa? Blah, blah, blah. And she's like, I have no idea. I found this picture on Pinterest. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's her. Hold on, let me pull out my phone real quick to see. So I pull out my phone, I go to Alyssa's Instagram. I'm like, this is her. I could like show her a different picture. She was like, oh, I think. So I'm like, let me see if she posted that picture on her Instagram. So I scroll. Sure enough, find a picture. And I'm like, let me look in the comments and see if she told anyone what hair she used. Boom. She said what type of hair she used, which I think was like some sort of wave or something. And then she even said like how many fucking packs she used. Easy. Okay, well, this is the type of hair she used. She didn't say what brand, but this is the type of hair she used. And, you know, you need this amount of packs, blah, blah. She got the hair. I even got her to get other stuff. Cool. And so I go back to stalking, and the girl comes back up to me to ask me another question. While I'm talking to her, Angel, the person that hired me, comes up to me and she's like, hey, whenever a customer asks you for something, never give it to them straight out of the box. I'm like, oh, okay. And she's like, yeah, those oils belong behind the counter because they're high commodity, people steal them. Oh, okay, my bad. Cool. So she walks away. Where is my bronzer brush? She walks away and I go back to helping the customer. So nothing else like memorable happens that night or whatever. And I verify with her, like, oh, I talked to the owner about my pay, blah, blah. And she was like, yeah, Justin should have been in today. I don't know where he is. I don't think he's coming in, blah, blah. Okay, whatever, cool. Then she says, then I asked her about what my hours, what my schedule was going to be. Because she said we would work on that at the end of the day. And she tells me to pick one of the schedules that's up there next to the time cards, and I pick one. I'm pretty sure I still have a picture. I'll insert it or whatever. I think I picked the one that said like 45 hours, something like that. And so the dates for the schedule started the following week. So I was like, oh, these dates are for next week. What do you want me to do for the rest of this weekend? And she was like, oh, okay, just follow that schedule. Typically, the dates don't really matter. That's usually everyone's schedule all the time. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then I say, oh, well, I can't do 9 to 9 tomorrow. I can do 9 to 3 because I have previous plans. And she's like, is it every Friday or is it just tomorrow? And I'm like, it's just tomorrow. Okay, cool, blah, blah. We go home. I feel like there's something else I'm missing from the first day that I can't remember. Oh, also on the first day, I text my group chat with my, y'all, my camera had the nerve to overheat. Like, I literally had to put it in the freezer because I was like, I need to hurry up and finish filming this so I can upload this tonight. I forgot what I was saying. So the only other thing that I can remember from day one is me texting my group chat with my parents, my husband, and one of my other group chats being like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be here long. It seems like they have, what is it called? Like a high turnaround or a fast turnaround or whatever it is. You know, when people come and go a lot. I was like, yeah, I keep overhearing them talk about people that lasted between 2 and 8 weeks. And that seems very strange, y'all. Like, why would people be in and out so quickly? So I was like, yeah, I'm still gonna put applications in other places because I don't feel like I'm gonna be here long. So the next day, my shift started at 9, which is the same time the store starts or opens. I pull up 8:45, 8:50-ish. At the same time that I'm pulling up, Angel is pulling up in a taxi. So we're the first ones there. And I go straight to work. I clock in, I go straight to work. And I'm like, hey, you want me to put these go backs back? Yeah. Okay, cool. So I start putting the go backs back. Customers start coming in. Whatever. Everyone else, I don't think came in until about 9:10, 9:15. Not my business. I'm clocked in. Cool. I'm gonna put this Sephora, is it always red? I don't know what this is called, but I'm pretty sure the number is number 1. I'm gonna put this on my eyeballs. I wanted to put Colored Rain's Cherry Blossom, but I can't for the life of me find that one. I'm wondering if I maybe gave it away to a friend. So anyway, I'm doing the go backs. I end up censoring some other shit, and then I go back to like stalking things. Mind you, it's my second day. I really didn't have any training on the first day, so of course I still have questions, and I'm like asking where certain things go because I don't fucking know and I don't see anything else like it on the fucking shelves. So I'm asking the cashier because she's the one that's closest to me. She's like this pregnant girl, and like that's where she's supposed to be staying, at the register. So I'm asking her where certain things go. She's telling me, and then like whenever a customer needs help finding hair or whatever, I'm the person that she calls to come help them. Okay, cool. feel like Cherry Blossom would have been a little lighter. Okay, so anyway, what the fuck was I gonna say? Oh, there was something that I asked her where it goes, and she ended up like getting down and putting it away herself or whatever. And she said something to Angel, and Angel said something to me like, oh, are you checking the, I believe she said, are you checking the barcodes? And I was like, oh, I didn't see that barcode. That's the truth. What am I gonna say? I didn't see the fucking barcode. My bad. I made a mistake. Excuse me. And she's like, okay, well, you need to make sure you're checking the barcodes. Okay, cool. Ooh, this is about to be messy. I don't know what possessed me to do a red eye. So, I guess that was the first thing I did to piss off the pregnant girl. And then, while I'm still standing there stalking things, a lady comes up to me and she's like, hi, I asked one of them if I could see these contacts over here, and no one's come over yet. And so I turned to look to see who she's talking about. She's talking about Angel and the pregnant girl. And they're like deep in conversation. And I'm like, okay, I'll let one of them know. Because once again, it's my second fucking day. I don't know anything about contacts. I didn't even know there was fucking contacts in the fucking store, okay? So once they're done talking, I'm like, oh, this lady over here wanted to see, she said she asked about seeing the contacts. And the pregnant girl's like, well, you can show her the contacts. The contacts are right here. The key for the contacts is already right here. She's like, anything that's up here, because I had also been sending people to her to get wig caps, because it was my understanding that the wig caps were by the cashier. They need to pay for a wig cap, so they would hand the cashier the money, get the wig cap, whatever. So she's like, you don't need to send them to me to get a wig cap. If they have $1, you can just take the $1 and put it next to the register, hand them a wig cap. The contacts are right here. The key for the contacts is in the box. You just stand there and you hand them whatever contacts that they say they want to look at or whatever. And then she was like, the keys for the earrings and stuff is right here. You don't need to ask us. Basically, you don't need to ask us for help. And I'm like, oh, okay, no one explained that to me. That's, you know, it's only my second day, blah, blah. She's like, mm-hmm. And that's basically the end of that conversation. Now, if you know me, you know that I am kind of slick at the mouth. And I'm usually very quick to snap at someone. But I'm like, you know, this is a job. I can't really snap at people in the workplace. So I help the lady get the contacts or whatever, and I start just taking the money from the customers if they have cash on them. And then there was a girl that came in and wanted literally 10 pairs of fucking earrings, so I had to go there and unlock the earring thing for her. And so I'm like going about my business, doing what I need to do. And then 3 o'clock hits. I fucking clock out and I leave. Let me do this eye and I'll be back. I was going to put lashes on, but I can't for the life of me find my lash glue, so. Yeah, so I do my shift and I clock the fuck out. At the time I said, you know, I was leaving. And about an hour later, I got a phone call. And I ended up not answering the phone call. But a voicemail was left, and it was Stephanie. And Stephanie was like, hey, this is Stephanie at insert insert beauty supply store name. He can give us a call back, blah, blah, blah. So I end up calling back maybe like 30 minutes later. And she's like, hey, they, not specifying who the fuck they are. She's like, hey, they said not to come in tomorrow. And I'm like, oh, okay, so I come in on Sunday. And she's like, I don't know. And she's like, you know, they just said not to come in. And I'm like, okay, so I don't come in tomorrow. Do I come in on Sunday? And she's like, really quiet. I'm like, am I fired? And she's like, yeah, I believe you're fired. And I'm like, who's firing me? And she's like, Angel and Justin. And I'm like, okay, so when do I get paid? And she tells me payday is on Mondays, but to call ahead to make sure they have my check ready. Okay, cool. I get off the phone. But then I think about it, and I'm like, wait, she didn't even say why the fuck I was fired. So I call back or whatever, and she's like, I'm like, okay, why, do you know why I'm getting fired or why I'm fired? And she's like, no, I'm not sure. They just said that they don't want you to come in again. And I'm like, can you go get Angel? Ooh, excuse me. And she's like, Angel's in the office with Justin. I'm like, can you go get her? And she's like, 1 second, please. And she leaves, and she comes back a few minutes later, and she's like, you know, like I said, Angel's in the office with Justin, and she just said that it didn't seem like you were getting the hang of things. And I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. And I kind of like laugh or whatever, and I was like, okay, thank you, and I got off the fucking phone. Y'all, I got fired on my second day because I wasn't getting the hang of things. Mind you, it was my second fucking day and I had no fucking training. Like, what? That makes no fucking sense. And so what I think it is, it's the fact that, I think it's because they had hired someone new. So when I was working my shift, a girl came in. It was the cashier's friend. A girl came in. She's wearing like a cute little dress from like Forever 21 or something. You know, those like bodycon type dresses. She's wearing one of those, and she's wearing like some sneakers, and she comes in for her interview. And I guess she got hired right then on the spot, and she was told to you know, go change into some pants, and she could start working the same day. So a bitch got hired and fired within what, like three days? So I went from unemployed, employed, and unemployed in the same week. What the hell? I can't find... Just kidding. Here's one right here. So Monday rolls around. I call like first thing in the morning about my fucking check for my 2 little days. And I'm like, whoever answers the phone, I'm like, hi, can I speak to Stephanie? Oh, Stephanie's not here right now. Can I speak to Angel? Angel's not here right now. So both of the managers just aren't there on the day that everyone's supposed to be paid. That's interesting. She said that they both had off that day. So you have 2 managers and they're just both off the same day. The day that happens to also be payday. Okay, cool. So I start to feel like they're playing around with me and playing with my little monies, right? And so Wednesday when I call in the morning and I speak to Angel. And Angel's like, okay, let me see if you're, first of all, before we even start there, Angel's the person that hired me, and Angel was also the person that wanted me fired, but she had someone else call me, and then the person didn't even know why I was being fired. Like, what sense does that make? I feel like if you're gonna fire someone, you should be the one actually firing them, not having someone else fire them for you. That makes no fucking sense. But anyway, so Wednesday, I call. Angel's the person that answers. I'm like, hi, this is Therese. I want to know when I can come pick up my check. She's like, okay, let me see if your check's here. I hear her rustling around or whatever, and she comes back to the phone. She's like, your check's not here, but Justin might have it on him. And I'm like, okay, so what time does he come in? She's like, if he comes in, it's gonna be after 5. Okay, cool. Hang up. I call, I want to say 6:30, for sure after 5, like well past 5. I call, and whoever it is, I'm like, hey, can I speak to Angel? And whoever it is like, may I ask who's speaking? And I'm like, it's Therese. And someone comes to the phone. It's not Angel's voice. It's Stephanie's voice. Like, bitch, I'm not stupid. So she's like, hey, blah, blah. And I'm like, is Justin there? I'm calling to see when I can come pick up my check. And she's like, let me see if your check's here. Mind you, this is supposed to be Angel. If it really was Angel, she would know that we spoke on the phone earlier and that my check's not there. And she's like, have you spoken to Justin? Blah, blah. And I'm like, I've never even met Justin. I've literally never met this man. Like, he could walk past me on the street tomorrow and I wouldn't know that's him. And so she's like, oh yeah, your check, I don't see your check here. And, at this time, it looks like he's, not going to even come in today. Blah, blah. And she's like saying some other stuff. She's like, you can call tomorrow and see. And I'm like, is this Stephanie? And just gets fucking quiet as fuck. And she's like, huh? I was like, is this Stephanie? And she doesn't say anything. I just hang up because I'm fucking mad. And so I hang up and I email the owner's email address. I was like, I've been trying to pick up my paycheck since Monday. I would like to know the appropriate day and time to come in and pick up my paycheck. And the owner gets back to me at like 3 in the morning, talking about what location you work. And so I let the person know or whatever. And like the next day I get an email. I let the person know, but then I also was like, and at this point, I think it would be better if the check was mailed to me. I was like, my address is on the resume that I submitted. And so the owner got back to me and was like, oh, I don't have the resume here. How? It's the fucking same fucking email, but okay. I don't have the address here. Can you give it to me or whatever? And so I gave the person my address, and they were like, okay, I'll have your check mailed to you. I'll mail your check out on Monday, which, whatever. So my check should be mailed to me. It should be hitting the fucking post office or whoever tomorrow. Regardless, I'm gonna hit up Texas Workforce Commission, because you're not gonna play around with people's money. So that's what you're not gonna do. If you're supposed to, I believe in Texas, you're supposed to pay someone within 6 calendar days, not business days, within 6 calendar days of firing them or them, quitting or whatever the case may be. This is the 9th calendar day, I believe. Y'all don't pay me my fucking money. And then the fact that they were playing on the fucking phone as if I'm fucking stupid and I can't tell their voices apart. But like, yeah, I got fired in 2 days. And like, I'm not even sad about it. I felt relieved, which is like so shitty because I really do need a job, y'all. I really do. But I feel like it says a lot, the fact that I'm like, oh, thank God. Like, thank God I don't have to go back there. Because I was already, like, just miserable. But, you know, now I'm looking for a new job. If you know somebody that's hiring in San Antonio, let me know. Should I have done a different lip? I feel like maybe I should have done a lighter lip. Alright, y'all, so that is it for this video. If you've watched this far and you are not subscribed, you just might as well go ahead and subscribe because you hung in there and listened to me ramble about basically nothing for this amount of time. Subscribe. You clearly like me. If you did like this video, please give me a thumbs up so more people can see it. Let me know down below what else you want to see on my channel, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye. Watch these videos.